Good morning, Sac City. Welcome into another edition of the Sac City Podcast. I am your host, the one and only Vinny Milani, joined as always by my best friend in the whole entire world. He is Aaron the Mukesiah Mukes, as well as your boy, my boy, everybody's boy. He is AJ Johnson. It is a beautiful August 31st morning here in the city. We have a fantasy drive show coming up. What is wrong?
Vinny in there whispering like he's at his mom's basement.
Well, no, I don't know how.
Welcome, everybody!
I don't know how it's going to work because obviously, so just pull back the curtain. I am sitting on a cooler in my empty living room right now, 4 hours away from driving myself to Connecticut on my laptop, and I have not used my laptop microphone or any of this stuff in a very long time. So I have to get used to this again. But this is how it's going to be for the next few days. So there you go.
Why do you got to whisper?
Because I don't want to blow. I don't want to blow.
I yell every day, and I use my laptop mic every day.
Great. Well, I'm gonna then hold on. Let's just hold on here. Let's just Good morning, Sac City. Welcome into another episode of I should have said it's the Fantasy Drive presented by the Sac City Podcast, the number one fantasy show on the web. Don't check stats because it doesn't matter. We are the number one show on the webs. He is my best friend, Aaron Mukes. He is your boy, AJ Johnson. I am me. We've got a great show ahead of us. We are going to be mock drafting for the final time this season. It's going to be very fun to kind of shit on each other's picks one last time because it's draft season, ladies and gentlemen. Some of you may have already started your drafts. Some of you may have already have drafts this weekend. And we're here to basically help you win your championships, put you in we want to put ourselves in your shoes in these mocks and help you make the right picks when it comes down to it. Before we get into the show, though, I do want to give a special shout out and a thank you to you two gentlemen for holding down the fort last night while I was dying. An unexpected death on my part right before the show. But I want to thank you, gentlemen, for holding down the fort.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's what we do. We're here for you.
You're welcome.
I
got a call from the powers that be, the bosses upstairs, and they actually offered me your job, but I told them, you know what, Vinny's my best friend. I'll let him keep his host job.
You want to know why I know that wasn't true? Here, Aaron, go ahead and talk. Oh wait, wrong black guy.
Oh wait,
insert.
If we could. Oh wait, if we really had to count the times that's happened in our shows,
again,
it far exceeds.
That's why if there's any talk of what's happening in the host role, we're all equal. And there's no one that's better. You do the same shit I do. But either way.
Sac City Pod is an equal opportunity employer.
Well, to be fair, Vinny, I don't know if you saw the beginning. I was the first person to play the Good Morning headlines.
You were, and I was very happy to see that for the first time because I always just roll into the headlines so fast that it never happens. So I was very happy to see that. Thank you.
You'll get there. You'll get there.
Buddy.
All right. Well, we're not going to beat around the bush here, gentlemen. We are actually going to get right into our mock draft. So this is actually not the draft order. We're going to do one of these bad boys and go into the draft settings and go to draft order and hit randomize a few times. And there we go. That's how it's going to be. Oh, wow. We are all in the back half of this draft. Everyone okay with this draft order?
Do I have a choice?
I mean, if you feel like you can give me more insight at a different position in this draft, by all means.
I mean, I don't because there's three of us. And
I'm okay with the back end of the draft. I would have liked to see somebody in the front, like towards like 1, 2, 3, or 4, but so they
AJ,
can give their perspective.
3.
But
I mean,
I know AJ wants. He's just chomping at the bit to go to.
Well,
3.
no, that works. So we kind of have every little 1 through 4, 5 through 8.
Yeah. And I just need to. While we're doing this, actually, I'm gonna play with the settings here to make sure everything is.
Everybody's gonna pick.
Oh my!
Whoa, that was weird.
That was really weird.
But yeah, basically what I was going to say was we all know who everybody's going to listen to. It's pick 12. So
okay. Yeah, for sure. That's exactly what's going to happen. Okay, so while I get the draft actually ready with the amount of picks that we need to do, AJ, load up those golden pipes of yours and tell the people at home where they can follow us at.
What a wonderful surprise, except it's not, because I'm always ready to tell everybody at home to holler at your boys at Sac City Pod on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. We have loved the support. We appreciate the love. And thank y'all. We are at the 500 mark on YouTube, have surpassed it, but the grind never stops. So now we're headed to 1,000. So who can you tell to help us get to that 1,000 mark on YouTube? All you got to do is find your best friend, find your best enemy, find someone you never met, and tell them to go to @SacCityPod on YouTube and Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Hit those subscribes, hit those loves, hit those follows. We appreciate it. Your boys are right here in fantasy season. All right.
There you have it. And after this quick commercial break, we are going to be getting into our mock draft, our final mock draft of the season.
This season preview is brought to you by Manscaped's brand new Ultra Premium 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner. This luxurious lather cleanses and nourishes in just one step. Using coconut water, green tea, and aloe, this non-greasy daily formula is naturally hydrating and rich in antioxidants to revitalize the look and feel of your hair. So head on over to manscaped.com and use the promo code SACCITY for 20% off and free worldwide shipping. The new Ultra Premium 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner from Manscaped. Take care of hair everywhere.
Let's do it. Oh my! I have my sound on. This is what happens. This is what happens.
That was interesting and happy, and I'm. So, were there some different rules in this life?
This is the way the draft actually panned out. But here's what we're gonna do here. Well, should we force Team 2 to pick not Derrick Henry?
Why?
No.
Okay, then there you go. Merry Christmas. You have Jonathan Taylor at pick.
You're going to be in drafts, and this is a good spot to go ahead, AJ. Yeah. I know who you're going to pick. You're taking Jonathan Taylor here, but there's going to be people in drafts that do stupid shit. I was just in a draft. Matter of fact, we have been in drafts that people do some stupid shit. Yeah. And that's, if you want to take Derrick Henry at 2, by all means, good luck. And
despite that, we don't agree with that pick. There are many people who think that is the right pick. So Just a little surprising. I didn't know if you switched some things around. So
no, I didn't. So the way this draft worked for people listening on the audio platforms, the first 2 picks were actually Christian McCaffrey and Derrick Henry. And it is kind of a lesson to everybody that drafts can be fluid. Do not go in there just expecting one thing to happen and not having a plan for something else happening. It all could go out. It could all go up in flames, or it could all work out in your favor, like AJ getting Jonathan Taylor at pick 3. The way the draft panned out, Austin Eckler, Cooper Kupp, Dalvin Cook before I was on the clock. You guys know how high I am on Justin Jefferson. I would honestly pick him maybe with the 2nd overall pick. I took him. Aaron capped out round 1 and started round 2 with DeAndre Swift and Alvin Kamara. My pick and AJ's pick were pretty obvious. Aaron, do you want to shed some light on your back-to-back picks there with Swift and Kamara?
Yeah, we're talking about both Swiss Army knives, both really good in the pass game. Obviously, if you're playing in a PPR league, ton of volume there. I do not fear Alvin Kamara's suspension. We have got to remember how good Alvin Kamara is when he's on the field.
I think he's really good.
I think people are. I think it's dropped. I don't know what's going on with this internet. Maybe I didn't pay my bill. But I think by the time people draft next week, Alvin Kamara will be a first rounder. I really do believe that. He's creeping up, and I don't think he gets suspended this year. I thought those 2 were pretty easy picks for me here around the corner, especially knowing that I'm not getting back to running backs. Like, there's no RBs that are coming back my way in the 3rd round that I'm going to be able to get. So I have to go running back there.
Yeah. And after you, 2 running backs did go shortly after you, I should say. Aaron Jones, Nick Chubb, Stephon Diggs, and Travis Kelce followed your picks. I'm back on the clock here. And again, this is mock drafts there's a lot of mock drafts where you just want to say, okay, I want to try some things out, see how your team forms, get some practice in, see what you're going to be okay with in drafts. And I'm kind of going to go with that strategy here, but also maybe act like this is a real draft for me and make sure that these
draft
picks
week.
Yeah, so this is draft week, so really it should be as close. I'm actually going to take Josh Allen here. It might be, you might look at me disgusted taking a quarterback this early. But I want to go for it. So I'm going to go with Josh Allen.
You do realize it's not a 2 quarterback league, right?
I realize it's a 1 quarterback league, and Josh Allen's the best quarterback in fantasy football.
You have no running backs.
We will play that. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yikes.
This looks exactly like the one that I did about 3 months ago or something when we did one of our last mock drafts.
I'll say this, and people out there that believe in zero running back strategy, if you're going to go zero running back strategy, look at Vinny's draft, and that's not how you do it. If you're going to go zero running back strategy, you have to take either the best tight end in round 2 in a Mark Andrews, or you have to go another top end receiver there in Tyreek Hill or somebody like that. You can't take a quarterback there.
Nope. So many.
Can't.
Fair. Hey, again, this is us talking things out and telling the viewer what they need to be doing in their drafts. AJ, you are now on the clock with the third to last pick in the second round. I'm not sure why I went that route. Hill, Andrews, Debo went after I selected Allen. You were on the clock. Take us through what you're going through.
So I'm actually very excited. I did not think this pick would get back to me, and I actually feel like this is a very easy pick for me. So I have Jonathan Taylor. I'm going to go back-to-back and grab another running back, and Saquon Barkley is sitting right there at the top. After seeing what this offense has looked like in the preseason, I'm confident that he's going to be a big part of this. I think he's healthy, and I think he's ready to run wild on the NFL, and I'm going to go ahead and grab Saquon here at the back half of the second round. And my thought now as it comes back, if you don't mind, I'll do it for you. Javonte Williams and CeeDee Lamb went after me to close out the second round. We come around to the third, and it starts with Leonard Fournette and Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts seems to have been going in the third round for every single draft since the beginning of mock drafts at this point. So now I'm sitting here, and there's so many wide receivers. I like the thought process of getting a top one, but then there's these running backs sitting at the top here that I'm excited about as well. I know people are down on Ezekiel Elliott, but I still think he's a very strong fantasy candidate, even if there's fantasy regression. James Conner, we talked about. There's nobody else in that backfield. I can go really strong here with running backs and knock some wide receivers out later in the draft, and I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to follow a little bit of the suit with the slight regression on Ezekiel Elliott. No offense to our fellow Cowboy, but I'm going to go with James Conner and grab that third running back and start mine off with Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley.
What regression are you talking about with Ezekiel Elliott?
There are a lot of people out in the fantasy world that think that Zeke is going to have regression. They think he's going to pull back. They think Tony Pollard is going to have a little extra reps on and so forth.
I don't think I've ever heard anyone use the word regression and Zeke in the same sentence, but maybe I'm not.
That is not true. I watched Aaron fight people all season long.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying people are down on Zeke, but like I've never heard the word regression come in a sentence with a running back that had a type of season like last year where it wasn't phenomenal. Like Zeke didn't have a phenomenal year where it's like, oh, there's going to be like James Conner, his touchdowns, what he got last year. That was a great amount of touchdowns to where the word regression can come up. I just don't. That's just me. Maybe that's
don't like the word.
Yes, correct. I just don't like the
word. Down
on
Zeke. Yes, basically where I was going.
Correct. I want to, Aaron. I'm going to let you speak in just a second because I want to double dip with what you're about to say here and get two takes from you as we progress through this draft. One is on what AJ just talked about with Zeke, James Conner, all that stuff, but also talking about Saquon Barkley and maybe talking to the viewers about how they should be feeling about Saquon this year.
Well, if you're going to take Saquon at the 210, Zeke's still on the board, and you could get him at, well, in your case, you could have got him at 3.3, or Vinny could get him here at 3.7.
That's exactly where I'm going, actually.
I think those are very – I don't know how people can be excited for Saquon and then down on Zeke. So I think that's counterintuitive or counterproductive or whatever you want to say it. Zeke's been consistent. Saquon has not. Zeke's been healthy. Saquon has not. And Zeke's in a better offense. Saquon is not. So I have them close to each other. I don't have either one of them going really in the first two rounds, although I do like the Saquon Barkley pick. I did say I thought he could be have a bounce back year, but I also feel the same way about Ezekiel Elliott. I think people are down on him with absolutely no validity whatsoever. There's nothing in Zeke's career that says he should be down on. There's nothing in his forecast for this year that says people should be down on him. It's literally people just making the fact that they want to say he's down on him, and then everybody follows suit because there's no actual proof that says people should be down on him. So I don't understand it. I never will. We've had that argument. I don't even try to talk about it anymore because it really doesn't matter. People are going to believe what they believe until they see him on the field. So I think that's a great. Honestly, if you're going to get an RB1 in the third round and you're able to get an Ezekiel Elliott there, you got lucky. Yeah. That's a win, because outside of that, when he takes James Conner there, you're now looking at ETN, Cam Akers, David Montgomery, one of those guys being your RB1. You'd have been in big trouble, in my opinion. So nice grab there with Ezekiel Elliott. That brings it to me. This is pretty simple for me. To be honest, I have no doubt who I'm taking here. I'm going back-to-back wide receivers, and I'm taking T. Higgins, and I'm taking Michael Pittman.
Oh, tell us about that Michael Pittman. T. Higgins, we know we talked about before, but tell us about Michael Pittman and the way and his, I don't want to say hype train, but talk about Michael Pittman and the potential that he could see this year.
Yeah, it's funny because I probably should have clicked Michael Pittman first, because that's who I think is going to finish higher. I think he's a wide receiver 1 this year. I think he finishes as in the top 12 in wide receivers because of Matt Ryan, because of his year that he had last year, now breaking out, I think, in year number 3. I just think he fits exactly, and he's the only target there. He fits what Matt Ryan wants to do. Big red zone target, going to score touchdowns. Nobody else really no tight end, no other receivers to take targets from him. I just think this is Michael Pittman's breakout year. I'm talking 1,400 yards, 10 plus touchdowns, and close to 100 catches for Michael Pittman this year with Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan is one of the most accurate quarterbacks in football. Carson Wentz was one of the worst last year in on-target throws, and I think that only helps by Michael Pittman this year. Give me all the Michael Pittman that I can get in most leagues this year. Yeah,
I like him a lot as well. He's one of those guys. I think he's a fantasy darling this year for sure. After you went, it was Cam Akers, Darren Waller, Terry McLaurin, and David Montgomery following you to kick off round 4. We've seen 3 quarterbacks off the board: Mahomes, Herbert, followed my pick of Josh Allen. I'm back on the clock here. I have Justin Jefferson, Josh Allen, and Ezekiel Elliott. I am obviously happy that I was able to get Ezekiel Elliott as my running back 1. I'm going to follow that up with a running back that I've been wishy-washy on, and I'm not afraid to say that I've been playing the fence with this next running back that I'm going to take. But it is Josh Jacobs, and maybe I'm buying into what Aaron is selling me about Josh Jacobs, and maybe I'm also buying what I'm selling about Josh Jacobs. I'm still taking
the background.
I'm still taking him in drafts after clearly buying what was sold to me on him. But the fear is definitely still there of how this season turns out for him. But I'm willing to take that chance on someone who, like Aaron has said many a times, he has done nothing wrong and has done nothing to show you that he's going to be a bad running back. So I have Josh Jacobs, Zeke, Josh Allen, and Justin Jefferson on my squad. Deontay Johnson followed me, DJ Moore, Breece Hall. AJ is now on the clock with 3 running backs on his squad: Jonathan Taylor, Saquon, and James Conner. AJ, where are you going here?
All right. So for me, I am liking the idea of finally getting my first wide receiver. And, despite what a lot of people think I have the thought process of a DK Metcalf here, but I'm actually going to go ahead and take Jalen Waddle, even with the idea of a Tyreek Hill in this offense. I think they are going to complement each other quite well, and Jalen Waddle is going to actually benefit from having a Tyreek Hill. I don't think he's going to just blow anything out of the water, but he's too talented of a receiver to just be dropped off in that offense. I think they have a very good plan on using him as well. So I like that for a start. And then I'm going to go and get another receiver. Cortland Sutton and DK Metcalf just went in front of me. We talked a little bit about these 2 guys here that I'm looking at. Mike Williams had a good season last year. Allen Robinson sitting there, and we like what he's going to be able to do in LA with Matt Stafford, easily the best quarterback that he's played with. I think I am going to go with Mike Williams. I like his upside. I like his deep threat ability. The way they were using him in the A-dot a couple of years ago or last season, more of that closer to the first down, closer to the 10 yards per target type. I like that possibility, so I'm sticking with Mike Williams. If Cortland Sutton hadn't made it to me, that would have been my easy pick, but he didn't, and I'm not sure how I feel about Judy as well. So
that's actually where I wanted to go here. As I make that you said if Sutton was there, it would have been your easy pick. Allen Robinson is there for me, and that's my easy pick. But Aaron, before you make your pick, Michael Thomas, Antonio Gibson, Hollywood Brown, Amari Cooper went after that. But Aaron, can you talk a little bit about Jerry Jeudy as you make your 2 picks here?
Yeah, I think Jerry Jeudy actually. You guys know I love Courtland Sutton. I think he has the biggest chance to be the breakout guy in Denver. But Jerry Jeudy is something that intrigues me because I think he might end up playing that Tyler Lockett role. I know we've talked about KJ Hamler, but I think Jerry Jeudy is going to be that big play guy. And then we look at who's been healthy. Out of those receivers, he's the only one that's really not been hurt. You got Courtland Sutton, who's had a big injury. KJ Hamler's had a big injury. I think Jerry Jeudy's been kind of the consistent guy there. He's an excellent route runner. Obviously, there's been question marks with his hands, but he was one of the better pass catchers of the football in college, and he had some drop issues early. I really don't worry about his hands. I think Jerry Jeudy's going to have a sneaky good year. And again, maybe it's because I think the Denver offense is going to be pretty good with the run game that they have and the weapons they have. But although I did start out as saying I thought Courtland Sutton was the clear number 1 there, I think this might be closer to a 1,000 for both guys instead of one at 1,400 and the other one at 800 or 900. I think it's going to be closer to that year that Amari Cooper and Gallup and CeeDee Lamb and them all had 1,000 or close to 1,000. I think it looks a lot more like that than I originally thought. I originally thought Courtland Sutton would be the guy, but I do like Jerry Jeudy, and I think he's starting to sneak up on people's radars. So not a bad pick, honestly, in the 5th round. I've kind of stayed away from him, but I've also stayed away from Courtland Sutton because I don't want to be the guy that gets the wrong one. And I think that's what I'm worried about. We've never seen this offense in action. I pick Jeudy, Sutton's the guy. If I pick Sutton and then Judy's the guy, I'm going to be pissed off that I got one of them. So I've stayed away.
Are you opposed to both of them on the same team?
I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of that.
If you were at the 3rd pick in the 4th and then the 3rd pick or 5th, whatever it is AJ has right now, he could have gotten Courtland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy. Like, it's possible to get both.
I'm not a fan of that. There's only very few teams that I would do that on. Okay. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams,
Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen.
Yes, to a lesser extent, yes. And then also by where their ADP is, Stephon Diggs and Gabriel Davis. So those are the only really guys that I would think about probably doing that on off the top of my head. Okay. But so let me figure out what I'm going to do here because I have no clue.
So some interesting computer picks.
Your team right now is DeAndre Swift, Alvin Kamara, T. Higgins, and Michael Pittman. You have 2 picks back to back here.
Yeah, so
we want to do a computer random pick here?
No, I'm gonna reach a little bit here.
Ooh.
I don't consider it a reach, but I'm going to reach. I'm going to take both a receiver and a running back here. I'm going to take Chris Godwin. And then I'm going to reach, and I'm going to go for my guy that I've been hot on all offseason, and I'm going to take him here in the 6th, and that's Damian Pierce. I like him better than any of those guys, those other guys. I could have took quarterback there, but then remember, when you're picking on the end, you have to wait 20 picks, in this case, 23 picks, before you get to pick again. And that easily could have meant Damian Pierce was gone, and I didn't want to lose him. Picking him in the 6th or the 7th, either way, I'm okay with doing that. So I went with Damian Pierce there.
Okay. I like that. I mean, he's skyrocketing up people's draft boards. And I feel like at this point, I don't even know if you could say it's a reach on Damian Pierce wherever. I mean, obviously if you draft him in like the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd round, or maybe like
I'll tell you, I like him over Breece Hall. I like him over Cam Akers.
Yeah.
Both of those guys are going in the 4th.
I mean,
I like him over Travis Etienne.
I like him over just about every one of those running Gibson, Dobbins, Akers, Montgomery. I like him over all the Breece Hall, Etienne. I like him over all those guys. So at that point, with the way our draft is even shaken up here, we would have Damian Pierce as a 3rd round running back, basically. So like I said, I don't think you could you can obviously say the word reach with him if you draft him higher than what his ADP is, but you're going to get a stud with Damian Pierce. And after you selected him and Chris Godwin, it was Miles Sanders, Elijah Mitchell, Jalen Hurts, Russell Wilson. I was on the clock, and I went with another running back to get 3 running backs here. I got A.J. Dillon, who we have been high on this season to maybe carry the rock a little bit more while Aaron Jones is doing the work in the passing game for the Green Bay Packers. So Zeke, Jacobs, and Dillon are my 3 running backs. AJ, you got 3 running backs. You got 2 wide receivers. Where are you going here?
I'm in and out, There's some things I want to do. There's some things I won't do. I feel like I looked at tight end for a little bit, and I'm at that spot really where I feel like if I don't get a tight end, if I don't get a tight end here, I'm waiting for a while because to me it becomes what I call the tight end dead zone. Like you're looking at a TJ Hawkinson who we still need to prove it. I really do like Dallas Goedert. I would have much rather had him with if I had Jalen Hurts as my quarterback. But then I'm probably waiting until Pat Freiermuth at the very least. And if that's not the case, then I'm talking going down as far as Hunter Henry and Irv Smith.
So you wouldn't draft Dallas Goedert because you don't have Jalen Hurts?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I would like that better. Like I like stacking sometimes with my quarterback and some of his pass catchers. If I can do that, I try to. If I can't, then I can't. I'm not saying I would not draft Dallas Goedert here. I also can get someone that I like as a receiver and then come back around. And if Dallas Goedert's still there because I'm close to the turn, I can do that as well. Looking at the receivers, if I wanted to go 3, we got an Amon-Ra sitting there who we think could have a good season. Adam Thielen could come back to being his red zone touchdown monster. I could reach and go get Gabe.
Still working
Davis.
this out, aren't you?
Oh, absolutely.
Man, pick. It's a mock draft. It shouldn't take you this long.
I thought I gave you plenty of time with my soliloquy and drafting A.J. Dillon well before.
I was listening to you. I'm so sorry.
You can still pick. Jesus.
Yeah. Wow. So sorry you're angry at me. Well, I'm
this show would not be any fun if A.J. wasn't on the show.
Oh, that's so sweet of you. Yeah. And then he comes back around. And I will go ahead and lock in Dallas on the way back.
Okay. All right. So you drafted Amon-Ra and you went Dallas Goedert. You got your tight end locked up. You got 3 wide receivers, 3 running backs now on your tight end. I'm back on the clock here. And, I did get what you were saying with the tight ends. And, there is certain tight ends that I don't know if I would want this early. And there's still some wide receivers that's obviously sitting here in front of me that I would like a lot more. And I have Justin Jefferson, obviously, as my wide receiver 1, Allen Robinson. And laugh at me all you want here, guys. But I am actually in a normal draft, I would be debating between Rashad Bateman and Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis has that potential, that ceiling of just being such a great fantasy player this year. Rashad Bateman's the number 1 wide receiver in that offense. But how do we know if that offense is going to be that efficient in the passing game? And
to the receivers.
I'm definitely going receiver here. And you know how I felt about Juju, but I will go with Gabe Davis. I'm going to go with a safe play here in Gabe Davis. Now, I picked him, and Aaron, I know I keep doing this to you here with your picks and also putting mine on other picks on top of yours. But in a situation with Justin Jefferson, Allen Robinson, and Justin Jefferson and Allen Robinson as your 2 wide receivers, is there a consideration of going a safe receiver or a risk receiver at that point?
Say that again. I'm sorry. You said if you have Allen Robinson and who?
Allen Robinson and Justin Jefferson as your 2 wide receivers, and you're on the clock sitting there looking at Gabe Davis and Rashad Bateman or Juju Smith-Schuster. If
I were you in that situation, I would have gone Rashad Bateman.
For what reason?
Well, he's the number 1 receiver on his team, and we know that.
Okay.
I'm big on clear guys that who are the targets, and before I start looking for guys that might be the targets, you know what I mean? I think that's when you get to these middle rounds. I'm looking for safe plays, but I'm looking for sure volume, just sure opportunity. And we know Gabe Davis is going to get his opportunity, but he's still the 2nd guy on that team. And perhaps maybe the 3rd, if you really talk about minus the running game, minus Stephon Diggs.
And even you look at the team that I've drafted now, I've got a lot of 2s on my team now too. I've got Gabe Davis, who's a 2 on his offense. I've got A.J. Dillon, who's a 2 on his offense. And I got Allen Robinson, who's also a 2 on his offense. So now looking back at it, that definitely is something that I should have considered. But other than that, Rashad Bateman did go after me.
I was hoping Rashad Bateman was going to last to me because that's who I was going to take. But I was with you. My choices were going to be Rashad Bateman or Gabe Davis in that situation.
Yeah.
Obviously, both are gone now, so it doesn't matter. But I actually like where I'm at here. I'm not in a huge rush necessarily to take a quarterback here, but I am going to. I'm going to do a nice little Aaron Rodgers here, and then I'm going to stack it with Alan Lazard. And just, play, again, a clear guy that right now is the clear number one in that offense. And with Aaron Rodgers, obviously, it's Aaron.
I like that. I like that pick. I like that stack there. I'm back on the clock now. Singletary, Patterson, Pollard, and the Bills' defense went. I think I don't like just like forcing like the word stack out there, but I am also going to jump on my tight end here. I like Dawson Knox this year in that Bills offense. I think just about every weapon in that Bills offense is going to be productive. And it does suck to see that I just drafted Gabe Davis and then Dawson Knox, and I have Josh Allen. I got a lot of shares of the Buffalo offense, but it's that good of an offense to where you can say
nothing wrong with having shares of that offense.
That's what I'm saying. That's one of those offenses where you can say, okay, I'm glad I have multiple shares of that. AJ's on the clock now with back-to-back Seahawks running backs before him.
Yeah. And I was really hoping Ken Walker would have lasted to me. I was going to pick him up and be very happy with that. But I also was looking at the board, and I'm the last one to take a quarterback, and it's the one that I would love to have here. So I'm going to go ahead and add Trey Lance to my team. I do think he's got a nice potential of a season. We think he's going to be a rusher of the football. You've seen what he can do with the deep ball, and if his consistency stays up, I think he can have himself a pretty solid season there. And then, that's fun. But I'm not going to do it because we don't know what that is. I am going to go ahead and draft. I'm going to jump down pretty far, but I think I like this. And like when he comes back, I'm going to go ahead and grab James Robinson.
You son of a bitch.
And put him on my squad. It's got a long time before I come back, and I like him better than some of the other running backs that are sitting there.
Yeah, I don't need to hear it. I don't think I've gone a mock or a regular draft without drafting James Robinson because I love James Robinson this year. Talking about that Trey Lance pick, though, any of you guys worried that this Jimmy G stuff coming into play this season? I remember you guys talking about it last night, but in terms of fantasy, when you're drafting Trey Lance,
doesn't matter.
Okay, all right, that's
you would take the chance on Trey Lance because you're not going to take the chance on Jimmy G as your fantasy quarterback. I mean, okay. You may pick him up if Trey Lance dies, but I mean, he's not a draftable.
That's fair.
QB in my opinion.
That's fair. I'm back on the clock here. I feel the need to go back to the running back side of things. Because I just have Ezekiel Elliott, Josh Jacobs, and A.J. Dillon. I was really hoping to get James Robinson because that would be a 1 on my team instead of a 2, which is kind of seeming like that's where we're at here with a lot of these running backs. James Cook. James Cook, but that's another Bills player, and I don't know if I just want to keep loading. Okay, so is it in this situation? Your feelings of James Cook aside, is there ever a certain amount of players from a team that you wouldn't like? Is there a limit of how many players, or Bills players maybe, or Chiefs players, or something like that you're thinking about that you can't have that many?
No.
Okay. James Cook it is.
When Peyton Manning threw 50 touchdowns or 55 touchdowns or whatever it was, you know who won our fantasy championship, the league I was in? This is a guy who had Julian Thomas, Noshawn Moreno, Eric Decker, Demaryius Thomas, and Peyton Manning. Like, if you have an offense that's going to go off, you're getting – but think about it. The Bills are going to be one of the highest scoring offenses in the league.
Yep. And
if you have all the players, every time they score, you're going to have a piece of it, probably double. With
Vinny's going to have him on the bench, so.
Hey, well, I don't know about me benching James.
Damn it.
I like James Cook. Oh,
we're going the Moose. My tight end just went. I was going to go the Moose. The Moose was loose, and now he's loose on somebody else's team. But it's okay because I am going to slide in here, and I'm going to take another wide receiver here, I think. I really, really like this wide receiver, and I think I think he's going to have a really good year, and I like the situation that he's in. So I will take Christian Kirk.
It is.
Yeah.
Normally I have my back-to-back picks here, but I don't know what I want to really do here. Ill.
Well, I forgot to take off kickers and defenses on the draft, so sorry about that one, boys.
It's okay. I'm not drafting no kicker or defense.
Yeah, of course you're not.
Yeah, they're pointless. Look, again, I'm going to not reach here, but I feel like this person's being drafted way too late for being the number 2 option on a team that's going to put up points, and it's because he's starting hurt. But I'm taking Michael Gallup. I think he is a surefire wide receiver 3 this season, and I think he's dropped way too far.
Okay, all right. So you go ahead, Kirk and Gallup. After that went Gordon, Claypool, the Rams defense, and Sky Moore. I'm going to ask you a similar question to what I asked you guys before when referring to too many of a certain type of players. Is there a certain number or limit you have on rookies on your team?
I'm not a big rookie guy, so not all the rookies can be great. You're not going to find too many rookies on my team. Couple maybe max.
So I think where I'm at right now, going way too far down the board, I should say, is I'm between George Pickens and Michael Carter here. My running backs are James Cook, A.J. Dillon, Josh Jacobs, Ezekiel Elliott. Wide receivers are Justin Jefferson, A-Rob, Gabe Davis. George Pickens, the rookie, we don't know what he is yet, but obviously there's a lot of hype, and he's a dynasty darling, but redraft leagues, who knows? The Michael Carter has got Breece Hall back there, a little torn between those two. But, I think I'm going to take my shot on George Pickens. You guys know how high I've been on him for quite some time, so I'm just going to lock in George Pickens.
That was
probably
where I was going to go. That was probably where I was going to
go. I don't love that pick there. I think there's better receivers out there, but
I like the upside. I think he has a shot at being one of the better rookies. And you asked the rookie question. That's a thought process that I have. And as I get later in the draft, I don't mind picking up a couple of them that I think can break out. Damn, son of a bitch.
I think definitely something to note here is now I am balls deep in this draft. I just picked my at the 10:06 spot, and I am looking back, and just like Aaron suggested, I might have some regrets about Josh Allen in the second pick. But when you have Josh Allen tearing it up, you might not have those regrets.
So I am gonna take a different rookie here. I'm a little torn between Robert Woods and Garrett Wilson, only because I don't think Tennessee's offense is going to be good enough, and I don't know if Robert Woods can break out the way he did or play well as he did with Matt Stafford that he will with Ryan Tannehill. So I'm going to take the hopeful upside of Garrett Wilson and see if he can do what I think he's going to do for me. And then I am actually going to take my final running back, which will be Nahim Heinz, so I can get both shares of that backfield. Jonathan Taylor, Nahim Heinz. You can make that face if you want, but he's a check down king, Mr. Slip Screen himself. So I think you can see him back like he was a couple years ago when he was finding himself in the end zone for the last 5 or 6 weeks of the season. So
I think Nahim Heinz is a good pick. I just don't pick him if I have Jonathan Taylor.
I mean, he's my fifth running back. So
I'm just saying but you would just never start him. You would never be able to start him and Jonathan Taylor at the same time. Well, and if Jonathan Taylor gets hurt, they would bring somebody else in because Nahim Heinz wouldn't be the full every down back. He's just different. Like to me, Nahim Heinz is a flex play, and you draft him as that. So if you have Jonathan Taylor, I just feel like it's almost a waste of a draft pick to draft Nahim Heinz because you would never start him. And if you did, you'd be guessing every week. I guess it's not that it's a bad pick. I just don't. I just couldn't do it.
Do any of these Jets wide receivers, obviously like Elijah Moore's getting some hype, Garrett Wilson gets some hype. Do any of these wide receivers that scare you a little bit with the quarterback situation of like Zach Wilson being hurt, unsure when he comes back, Joe Flacco there? No, nothing, no fears.
Joe Flacco's not a starting quarterback because he's old, not because he's not a serviceable quarterback. Okay. I mean, like Elijah Moore was having himself a field day when Joe Flacco was in there throwing the ball around. So I think if anything, it gets these guys started and they're ready to rock when Zach Wilson gets back.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. I selected Jarvis Landry. with my next pick, getting a more safer pick. I've got a lot of dart throws and shots in my roster right now, and trying to round it out with maybe some safety and Jarvis Landry there with the Saints offense and Jameis Winston, famous Jameis Winston. J-Tuck went shortly after me, though. So, Aaron, I know you're dying to get J-Tuck on your team, and you're not going to be able to get him.
Poor guy.
I don't care about kickers.
Kickers are the best players in fantasy.
Kicker lives matter.
40.
I got 3 picks left.
Yep.
Kicker lives do matter, but I am not going to take a tight end here. I am going to take another wide receiver, I think. Part of this just speaks to the lack of depth at the running back position that I told you guys before. If you don't take running backs early, there's going to come a point where there's nobody left, and you can try to justify all the James Cooks and all the Nahim Heinz and Alexander Madisons that you want, but they're not any good in fantasy. So I'm going to take more receivers here, and I'm going to double stack, I guess you can say, the Packers and make sure I have the number 1 receiver here somewhere. And then I'm also going to take a little bit of a sleeper that I really, really like here, and that's Isaiah McKenzie from Buffalo.
Ooh, nice pick.
He was a good one.
I don't want to talk. I'm not. You had good picks. It is what it is. But there was a player that was just picked, not on either of our teams. But Darrell Henderson with the Rams. No need to talk about him. No need to do.
Nope. Okay. Him or Cam Akers. I think both of them are. There's been reports that Cam Akers looks slow. Yeah, not explosive. And Darrell Henderson already nursing injuries. I don't like anybody in the Rams backfield right now. I think that backfield's a mess.
Yeah. I will go with Brian Robinson. I was torn between Isaiah Spiller and Brian Robinson. I know I'm just loading up on all these rookies. But I might be drinking the Kool-Aid of what
he got shot. He might not even play.
I don't need him to play right away. Okay.
He might not play at all.
He might. No, he was seen on crutches.
They're talking about him coming back in 22, but that's also them just like keeping the feel good story going. So
come on, guys.
Well, guess what? I just
got shot twice in his lower extremities. It's going to be some time before he plays football.
I just drafted Brian Robinson out of the feel good story. Shout out Brian Robinson. Hope you feel better, buddy.
His Otis Anderson life. Then he does like those players.
Hey, Funkin' B-Rob.
R.I.P.
Funkin' B-Rob.
So I'm gonna take the eventual starting running back out of Atlanta and Mr. Tyler Algier down here. Anyways, and then
that offensive line, they're gonna start nobody. They're just everybody gonna quit.
Nah, it'd be
go
all right.
Cornell, go.
That man's got it like that. I guess this would be technically kicker and defense land, but for shits and giggies.
Yeah, none of us are taking kickers and defense.
I know we're not. I'm just saying, like, in a normal draft, that more than likely has kickers and defense.
I'm not even going to take a tight end. I don't care.
What? You got to at least take a tight end. To talk about it, at least. You but to take a tight end.
I'll tell you who I would take.
Oh, yeah, I'm forcing you to take a tight end.
You're not forcing me to do nothing. I got the buttons in my hand.
I will change. But I have control of the draft here. I'm going to force. I'm literally. Hold on.
I'll end this studio. I will end the stream. Don't even get me started.
Super reach.
So I will. Don't put my Jay Sternberger.
Sternberger. Oh, that's
get Jay Sternberger as your
Vinny, make your pick. Let's go.
I shall make my pick because the running back I was torn about getting before I drafted so many rookies on my team.
Isaiah Spiller's not even. He's not even going to be the backup with the Chargers. They said he doesn't.
Get out of here.
They said he does not look good.
Isaiah Spiller?
Yes. Have you not been paying attention to training camp?
Changed because I remember the first few weeks of training camp and preseason that they were like, "Oh my God, Isaiah Spiller is getting reps at the ones. He's been that good,
bro."
Like, that was a thing. I haven't seen it.
That was your thing.
No, that was a real thing. I have not seen any of that stuff about Isaiah Spiller looking
like Mario Goodrich.
Hey man, R.I.P. Mario Goodrich, man, he got cut.
Can you please remove the tight end for me? What the fuck?
No, you have to get Jay Sternberger. Forced upon you to take Jay Sternberger.
All right. So normally here, if I had to draft a tight end, a defense, and a kicker, I honestly would probably go David Njoku here. I think he's a sleeper tight end to have a really good year. with the Cleveland Browns. But then I could also go Irv Smith or Noah Fant. And basically my point being is if you don't take a tight end early, don't be in a rush to take one. You can draft one late. They're all going to be the same. You got to just hope you can get the one that hits, but you can stream if you need to as well. I'm taking this person here. I think he could end up being the number one wide receiver in Kansas City. I've talked about it before.
This person here.
Yeah, Mecole Hardman. They can see it. I mean, shit. They can see it. And then God, the running backs are so bad.
It's so bad.
That's
and
why
I also just found out that Isaiah Spiller might miss week 1 of the regular season. So not that he would have started on any team in like the week 1, but like that's the thing. So that's more time for Josh Kelly to be the number 2 running back.
So this is where I usually like to take some like deep flyers, guys that may not be great right away, but could come out and end up being something late in the season or something like that. So I am going to throw a rookie in here, and there's some guys that I like over him, but I'm just going to say, you know what the hey, and I'm going to take David Bell.
Okay.
I was going to say Christian Watson, but I was like, I already got Romeo Doubs and Alan Lazard.
That's where I thought you were going.
I don't have to make the point. Like technically, I will tell you, on a lot of dynasty teams, I have all 3: Lazard, Doubs, and Christian Watson, and it's because I'm waiting for that first couple of weeks to see who it's going to be.
Is this a crazy strategy to consider taking like a Jameson Williams here, putting him on your IR spot, and then going to free agency right after?
For a redraft league, yes.
Yeah. It is? Okay.
It's crazy.
Okay.
That's because most redraft leagues, honestly, unless you have IR spots you can waste, and that's great. But if you don't have IR spots really to waste, you could just be wasting a roster spot all year. Because Jamie, even when he comes back, it's going to take him time to get started. And then by that time, it's what, week 10, 11? Are you really trusting him in your fantasy playoffs?
No. Yeah.
So
probably
no.
not. I finished it off with DJ Chark, just a dart throw, really. My draft. This was a tough draft. I'd like to stricken this from the record, but
I only have 3 running backs.
Hey, I got a whole lot of rookie running backs,
but I only have to start 2, so I'm okay.
Yeah. So your team right now, while AJ takes a few for his final pick, DeAndre Swift, Alvin. Oh, hey, the draft's over. DeAndre Swift, Alvin Kamara, and Damian Pierce are your running backs, and then a whole lot of wide receivers. If you want to see what wide receivers,
every receiver.
what if you want to see what wide receiver Aaron has, go watch our YouTube show. AJ, you have Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley, James Conner, James Robinson, Nahim Heinz, and Tyler Algier as your running backs, and your wide receivers are headlined by Jalen Waddle and Mike Williams. My team is headlined by Justin Jefferson, Josh Allen, and Ezekiel Elliott. I've got a whole lot of rookies there. If you need a rookie, I've got them. But that does it, though, for our final mock draft of the season. Fantasy is right around the corner, like real
draft next week. Whoever wants to play, they got to let us know.
Yeah, you
got
let us
spots
know.
Open.
Yeah.
Send us a message. Let us know you want to be in our league.
Huh.
If not, we're going to start giving away to people.
Honestly,
all you guys talk shit to us. I'm the best. I'm the best. Well, where you at? Let us know you want to be in it so we can get you in it.
Yeah, we're about to create the biggest, largest, greatest fantasy league, the hardest fantasy league you guys will ever. You want the challenge? Come step up to the plate. If you don't want that smoke. That's just what you are. But tomorrow we will be breaking down what 2 teams. Aaron, get your handy dandy notebook out, whip it out, and
whoa. Don't ask for it. Don't ask for it when you can't handle it. Steelers and Bengals. Oh, Bengals fans, I'm back.
Oh no.
I'm back.
Oh no. Well. Again, this is again. I mean, we've been getting some heavy hitters lately with our controversial Patriots episodes, our controversial Titans episodes, and maybe tomorrow we'll have another very controversial season preview featuring the Bengals and the Steelers live at 10 a.m. Eastern time right here on YouTube. But until then, for my best friend Aaron Mukes and for your boy AJ Johnson, I am me. We'll see you tomorrow.
Peace out.
Bye.